This video is sponsored by Solo Con Tutti, the free app that lets musicians play together over the internet. Backmasking is when a clip of audio is played backwards when it's been reversed. The Beatles' 1966 track Rain is the first use of a backmasked voice on a pop or rock song. And if you've ever wondered what John is actually saying in reverse here, well, it's just a clip from earlier in the song played backwards. In this interview from 1968, John describes how he had the idea to reverse the tape for Rain. I got home at about 5 in the morning, stoned out of my head. I staggered up to my tape recorder and put Rain on, but it came out backwards, and I was in a trance in the earphones. I really wanted the whole song backwards. As John mentioned here, he actually wanted the whole of Rain to be reversed, but Paul McCartney and George Martin persuaded him just to reverse a short segment at the end of the song. The Beatles first started experimenting with backmasking a few weeks before they recorded Rain, when they were creating the tape loops for their groundbreaking track Tomorrow Never Knows. For example, this sound, which you may recognise from Tomorrow Never Knows, is actually a sitar sped up and played in reverse. On the same album, the Beatles also created the first ever reversed guitar solo. I'm Only Sleeping from Revolver features George Harrison playing this backmasked guitar solo. I've always found it interesting that despite the fact that this is a reversed sound, a reversed guitar solo, we get so used to the melody in its reversed form that if we hear it in its unreversed form, the way it was actually performed by George Harrison, it's barely recognisable. Backmasking has long been associated with secret hidden messages, and this all started with the Beatles' experimental track Revolution No. 9.
Number 9, number 9, number 9, number 9.
When played backwards, there's a voice on the record that sounds like it could be saying, "Turn me on, dead man." And this is what began the infamous myth that Paul McCartney had died in a car crash and had been secretly replaced with a lookalike. In fact, this supposed secret message of "Turn me on, dead man" was the first of many accusations by Christian groups that rock artists were using backmasked voices to hide satanic messages in their music, despite the fact there was no evidence to suggest that someone hearing a backmasked voice could have any effect on them at all. In the 1980s, various conservative politicians across America pushed for backmasked messages to be banned, with one member of the California Assembly arguing that backmasked messages can manipulate our behaviour without our knowledge or consent and turn us into disciples of the Antichrist. Stairway to Heaven by Led Zeppelin was famously accused of containing a satanic message. And Electric Light Orchestra was accused of hiding several backmasked satanic messages in their 1974 album El Dorado. For example, the title track El Dorado supposedly says, "He is the nasty one, Christ, you're infernal. It is said we're dead men. Everyone who has the mark will live." ELO's Jeff Lynne reportedly responded to these claims by calling them "skull." These ridiculous suggestions of hidden messages ironically spurred rock bands to purposefully include secret reverse messages in their music. For example, have a listen to this moment from Pink Floyd's Empty Spaces. And now listen to it in reverse.
Congratulations, you have just discovered the secret message. Please send your answer Old Pink, care of the Family Farm, Chalfont.
As I mentioned before, when the Beatles first used backmasking on their track Rain, John actually wanted the entire track to be reversed. Well, 3 decades later, Radiohead would actually pick up where John Lennon left off by completely reversing one of their songs. During the sessions for Kid A, Radiohead were trying to complete their track I Will, but frustrated with a lack of progress, they decided to turn the tapes around and play the track in reverse. And they were actually very pleasantly surprised by what they heard. They preferred this reversed version. So they decided to take this reversed version of the melody and make a new track from it, which became Like Spinning Plates. The track I Will was later completed for the album Hail to the Thief, so the version of I Will that we actually eventually got isn't the exact same version that was reversed to create Like Spinning Plates. But if we play it backwards, we can hear how I Will's reversed melody was the origin for Like Spinning Plates. Another artist known for their reversed guitar solos is Jimi Hendrix. If I unreverse this classic Hendrix reversed guitar solo, see if you can guess which song it is. Years later, the Red Hot Chili Peppers would record their own version of Castles Made of Sand, and although they wouldn't attempt to recreate the reverse guitar solo on their version, they did include a reverse guitar solo on their classic hit Give It Away. This is what the Give It Away guitar solo sounds like before it was reversed. Much like how the Chili Peppers were influenced by Hendrix, Oasis were seemingly inspired by the Beatles to include reverse guitar solos on a number of their songs, including The Master Plan, and Do You Know What I Mean? Although Oasis weren't the first Britpop band to use a reverse guitar solo. They were actually beaten to the punch by their rivals Blur, who included a reverse guitar solo on their debut hit There's No Other Way. I'll leave you today with this backmasked piano piece that I've composed. If you'd like to hear it in its entirety, it's available now on Spotify. Thank you to Solo Con Tutti for sponsoring this video. Solo Con Tutti is a free app that allows you to make music with other musicians over the internet with minimum latency. Typical video conferencing services like Zoom have far too much audio lag to allow for music making, but Solo Con Tutti allows up to 12 musicians to come together over the internet and make music together. As I said before, for a limited time, Solo Con Tutti is available completely free of charge, so do go check it out if you're interested. And thank you as always to all of the patrons who make my videos possible, including the names you see on screen right now and Andre Sainz-Diaja, Andy Deacon, Andrew Sussman, Austin Barrett, Austin Russell, Bob McKinstry, Boo Medale, Brittany Parker, Cameron Villa, Colin Aiken, Charles Fenn, Chris Gabel, David Bennett's Hart, David Rivers, Donald Howard, Dr. Darren Wicks, Eleanor Skorchenko, Eugene Leroy, FD Hodor, Greg Kubowski, Guillermo Latona, Hamish Brocklebank, Hernet Kutcher, Hugo Miller, Ivan Pang, Jake Fisher, J.A. Kokensparger, John Dye, Josk Domchen, Josh Sanderlin, Justin Vigor, Mark Saitera, Mark Ziegenhagen, Max O'Keefe, Melody Composer Squared, Michael Vivian, Nathan Lawrence, Nathaniel Park, Nick Chang, Paul Middleton, Paul Miller, Paul Hazel, Peter Dunphy, Roger Clay, Sean Kennedy, Steve Daly, Tim Beaker, Tim Payne, Victor Levy, Vedad Flowers, Vladimir Kodakov, Volty, the Washington Shakespearean Festival, Waylon Fairbanks, and Zaphod.